In a land of towering castles and fierce dragons lived a knight unlike any other. His name was Sir Gideon, and his armor didn't shine from battle polish, but from the bright reflections of the smiles he collected. You see, Sir Gideon's greatest weapon wasn't his sword, but his kindness. While other knights trained by clashing steel, Gideon practiced a different kind of strength. He'd help an elderly woman carry her groceries, share his lunch with a lost traveler, or spend hours listening to a troubled farmer's worries. The other knights would often laugh. What good is a kind heart against a dragon's fire? They'd scoff. Gideon would simply smile and say, a sharp sword can win a battle, but a kind heart can win the world. One day, terrifying news swept through the kingdom. A fearsome dragon, its scales as dark as a starless night, had descended upon the Blackwood forest. Its roars echoed through the valleys, and its fiery breath turned fields to ash. The king, in his desperation, called upon his bravest knights. One by one, they rode out, their swords drawn and shields high, ready for glory. But one by one, they returned, defeated and humbled. Their armor was scorched, their spirits broken. The dragon was simply too powerful. Fear began to grip the kingdom. With his best warriors defeated, the king felt the shadow of despair fall over his heart. It seemed nothing could stop the dragon's reign of terror. Just when all hope seemed lost, Sir Gideon stepped forward. He wasn't carrying a giant shield or a gleaming sword. Instead, he carried a lute on his back and a large basket filled with freshly baked bread, sweet jams, and ripe cheeses. The court fell silent, then erupted in disbelief. "Are you going to fight the dragon with a picnic?" one lord jeered. Gideon just bowed to the king and said, "I'm not going to fight, I'm going to talk." With a determined look, he mounted his horse and rode towards the ominous Blackwood forest, leaving a stunned and silent court behind him. The journey was tense, the air thick with smoke and the smell of burnt earth. But Gideon's heart was steady. He found the dragon in a vast, charred clearing, curled around a blackened mountain of treasure. It was huge, magnificent, and looked incredibly lonely. As it saw Gideon, it let out a deafening roar, and a plume of smoke billowed from its nostrils. Any other knight would have charged, but Gideon did something unexpected. He sat down, unpacked his basket, and began to play a gentle, soothing melody on his lute. The dragon paused, its head tilted in confusion. Gideon then spoke, his voice calm and clear. "You seem very upset," he said. "I thought you might be hungry, or maybe just lonely." The dragon, whose name was Ignis, had never been spoken to with anything but fear and anger. Slowly, hesitantly, Ignis crept closer. Gideon offered him a piece of bread, and the great beast gently took it. For hours they sat, Gideon playing his lute and sharing his food, while Ignis told his story through soft rumbles and sad eyes. He wasn't evil. He was just scared and alone, driven from his home by a volcanic eruption. He had lashed out in fear, not malice. Understanding dawned on Gideon. The next day he returned to the castle, not with a dragon's head, but with the dragon itself, walking peacefully behind him. He explained the situation to the king, and together they found a new home for Ignis in the remote, warm mountains to the north, a place where he could live in peace. The kingdom was saved, not by a sword, but by a simple act of listening and a shared piece of bread. Sir Gideon proved that true strength isn't about how hard you can fight, but how deeply you can understand. He became the kingdom's greatest hero, a knight who fought with kindness,